everyone, it's Cindy from Stamped with Aloha. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to create a large star card. So let's go ahead and get started with today's project. This is the original version. If you watched my mini star card, that's a smaller version that you can fit in an envelope. So this larger version is made out of designer series paper, and this is a card that you definitely have to create a custom envelope for because it is much larger than our standard envelope size. But it's a really fun card, and I created this one as a welcome baby card. When you open up the card, it opens up like this, and you can line it with cardstock as I've done here, or depending on what you've created it with, you may not need to do that. But since I'm using dark cardstock today, I had to add the liner. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and get started on this project. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to do the scoring and the cutting to create this template. This is new designer series paper called Countryside Inn. It's really beautiful paper. And so what we're going to do first is we are going to take this 12 by 12 piece and we are going to find the center. So I have a ruler here, and I'm going to go ahead and line this up so that I can find the center here at 6 inches. And I'm just going to make a little mark. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here at the top, line up my ruler and make a mark. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to kind of line those up to make sure that they're straight. And then I'm going to place a line. And then I just extended that center line on the designer paper. I need it to come down a little further, and you're going to see why. So what we're going to do next is we are going to create an equilateral triangle. So although this is 12 by 12, if I were to cut this paper like this to create a triangle shape, it won't be equilateral because the sides will be longer. So in order to make sure that all sides are 12 inches, I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to line it up here at the corner of the cardstock, and then I'm going to just turn it until it hits that center line. So this is why I drew the line down further, so that I would have a place for the line to meet. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw a line to that center point. Then I'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So in the corner, and then up at the center point, and draw a line. Okay, so once you've drawn it in with pencil, now we are ready to cut it out. Okay, so I placed my designer paper in my paper trimmer, and then I'm going to take the cutting blade and I'm just going to cut off just like about 1.25 inches off the top. So now you have a nice scrap piece that you didn't cut at a diagonal. And it'll also then make our designer paper a little bit easier to move within the trimmer. So now I'm going to line this up so that I can see that pencil mark at the bottom of the well where my blade is going to go, and right up to the top. So I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to just trim right on that line, and then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on the opposite side. So pencil line to pencil line, looks good, and trim it. And now we have our equilateral triangle. So keep your trimmer close because we're going to need it again in a minute. Because the next thing that we're going to do is we need to find the center on these two sides. So for this pencil line here, you can erase that because we're not going to need that one anymore. But we still have our pencil line right here at the center point there. So I'm going to just connect it to the edge. And then I'm going to line up my ruler again. This should be, turn it this way so you can see it better. This should be, 12 inches if I cut it right. And we're going to mark the 6-inch mark there. And then I'm going to turn it this way, and we are going to mark that 6-inch mark right there. Okay, so now I have those centers marked, and now we're going to do some scoring. So I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way. I'm going to take this and line this up, and then I'm going to take those 2 pencil marks and put them within the well. I'm going to make sure that my designer paper is straight in the back here. So I want those lines to be straight. So I'm going to see that those are in there and the bottom looks even. Okay, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to score it. Okay, then I'm going to turn it, line up the next set of pencil lines. So we're going to connect that score line Again, we're gonna turn it so that it's straight, and then we're gonna score it. And then we'll do it one last time. So we're gonna line up those 2 pencil points, check the bottom, and score it. Okay, so once we have our 3 scored lines, we're gonna then take those lines and we're gonna pull it back to line it up at the 1 3/4 inch mark. So I just scored that line right there. I'm going to pull it to 1 3/4. So make sure that that's lined up at 1 3/4, and I'm gonna score. And then we're gonna do that 2 more times. So there's where I scored. I'm gonna pull it back to 1 3/4 inches and score. And one final time, 1 3/4 inches. Okay, all the scoring is done, and now we are ready to fold. So grab a bone folder, and then you decide which part that you want on the center. So for me, I want the dark stripes on the center, because whatever is in the center is what's going to be on the points of the triangle, and I want the darker stripes to be on the points rather than this more florally side. So I'm going to take and I'm going to fold this over, and I want to make sure that it fits within the edge of the designer paper. So if it goes over just slightly, I'm going to pull it back. So it's going to buckle a little bit back here, but then I'm just going to straighten it out with my bone folder. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same over here. Just lay it down and score it. And mostly that's happening because you probably using the darker paper, it's really hard to see that center when you're cutting it out. And so if I would have it exactly in the center, then it should fold perfectly. Okay, but this is going to work. So we have those done, and now we're going to take and go on that second line that I scored. Where is that? Right here. And we're going to fold that back. That 1 3/4 fold. Okay, so we're going to find that, fold that back, and then one final time, fold it back. All right, so that is your basic shape of your star card. And so now really to finish it, all we need is a focal point and a liner. So I know in my last video I had some of you asking again to see how do you create triangles, like if you want to put a triangle here, or if you want to put a triangle on the inside, how do you do that? And so that's what I'm going to show you next, and then we'll move on to the focal point. So for this triangle here, you have a 6-inch 6 by 6 by 6 equilateral triangle. So that means we have to create a 5 3/4 equilateral triangle. Okay, so to do that, I have a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square. Now we're going to find the center. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark this off at 2 7/8 on both sides. And then we're going to do the same thing where we're going to draw a line and draw this line about halfway down. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to place it on the edge of that point, and I'm going to take the bottom part and place it at 5 3/4 inches and draw a line. And I'll do the same thing on the opposite side, from the edge of the ruler to 5 3/4 inches. Okay, and then I can go ahead and cut this out, and this will be ready to go. Okay, no need to erase the pencil lines on this because we can just flip it over, and then this will be the perfect fit for the center of our triangle. So if you are doing one of these cards and you needed triangles for the smaller pieces here, because some of you asked me for that template, you do the exact same thing. Measure this, find the center, and then draw your equal triangle and cut it out. Okay, so let me go ahead and glue this in the center, and then we'll move on to our focal point. For the focal point, we're going to be using the Little Dreamer stamp set. We're going to use A Star is Born and then this image here. And then I have these 2 new dies. These were created with a brand new nested essential dies. It's turning into one of my new favorites. So I'm going to take out my Memento ink. I'm going to take out the words, "A Star is Born," and I'm going to stamp that in the bottom right corner of this nested essential tag, okay? Then on a scrap piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and ink up this image. So cute. We're going to stamp that. We have coordinating dies that will die cut that from this bundle. And when you color it with just 3 Stampin' Blend marker, it's going to look like that, which is Lemon Lolly, Daffodil Delight Dark, and then of course some Bubble Bath Pink for the cheeks. Okay, now let's assemble this. So I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals behind this layer here. And I'm going to place that on there like so. And then I'm going to place dimensionals behind this image and put that on there just like that. It's perfect fit. So with the Little Dreamers dies, in addition to die cutting some of these images, there also are some extras in the die set. So I was able to die cut 3 stars and a cloud. I think for this, I'm just going to use the cloud and 2 of the stars. So let me go ahead and add that cloud with the dimensional. So I'm going to pop that on right there. And then I'm just going to add the stars with some mini glue dots. And then I'm just going to finish this up, embellishing with some jewel rhinestones. So we're going to put one there, and one right here. Okay, so our little focal point is done, and now we are ready to complete this project. So let me bring this out. Now, when you fold up the star card, it's really important to know which flap you're going to put your focal point on. So when you fold it up, start with whichever one you want. You fold that in, you take the second one and fold it over the top, and then you take the third one and you tuck it under the first one. So it's going to fold up like that. So that last one that you tucked in, that's where you want your focal point to go. So I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals, and we are only going to put dimensionals in the top right side of this, and they're nice and strong, so it's going to hold. And then that way we are only going to stick them up in that top corner, and we can check it to make sure that they're not showing. So let's look here. Let's open it up and take a look. So there's just a tiny one peeking out there, but I think that's going to be fine. So again, 1, 2, and then this is only stuck to the corner here. So we're going to go ahead and tuck this in, and there you go. We have a completed star card. Well, I hope you liked learning how to create this project. I had a lot of fun sharing this idea with you. I look forward to sharing more projects with you in the near future, so I hope that you'll come back and stamp with me again real soon. Until then, aloha.